Aries, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of April. And so before I get started, the way that I do this is whole signs. And so it's going to be most applicable for your rising sign. So your rising sign is how other people perceive you. Your sun sign, still important, still significant, because that is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign, which is your emotions. It's how you process everything through that emotional lens. And so just to kind of jump in, there's a lot happening in the month of April. And no surprise here, there is a lot of Aries energy. There's Taurus energy as we get later into the month. And so for you, this is going to impact mostly your first and second houses. And so what that means is first house is who you are. So this is your physical person. Again, think of like your rising sign. It is how you express yourself. It is how people perceive you. And so that is your first house. Your second house is all about your personal finances and what you value. So right away, April 1st, April Fool's Day, we have Mercury stationing retrograde. And so even as I'm recording this, Mercury is already in the shadow. And so the shadow was right around March 18th, and then it will actually station retrograde on the 1st, and then it will station direct on the 25th, but then doesn't leave that shadow again until the middle of May. And so we're in this energy for a little bit of time. And so when Mercury stations retrograde, it's actually going to be in the sign of Aries. So it'll happen on the 1st, like I said, at 6:14 in the evening Eastern time. And so when this happens, we'll have Mercury, Chiron, and the Sun, as well as the North Node, all in Aries. And that's going to be significant here, especially this month when we talk about the eclipse. And so what happens when Mercury stations retrograde? So Mercury is how we perceive information, is how we communicate. It is all of those things. And in the sign of Aries, Aries is an action-oriented sign. Well, Mercury, when it stations retrograde, is now going to reflect inward. When it comes to processing things and any kind of action that you want to take, instead of being outward, now everything is going to be inward. Mercury will also be square Pluto in Aquarius at this time. And so for you, Pluto in Aquarius is sitting in your 11th house of friends, community, all of those people that you choose to be around. And so in a square with maybe some sort of change you want to make to yourself indicates that there is some sort of disconnect here, that there is some sort of challenge or obstacle between the two. And so what kind of actions do you want to make internally that kind of maybe, I want to say, maybe get you back into alignment with your friends? Maybe you've been out of sync with some of your friends for a while. This could also indicate some maybe like mending of bridges. So if you have any kind of friends who you've been in, having issues with, this might provide an opportunity for you to make some changes there. And really the changes are going to happen to you. And so that is happening here. We'll also have Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so Chiron is the wounded healer. And so all of this is happening in the sign of Aries. Again, this is all impacting your first house. So this is about wounds related to who you are, how you, maybe even your physical body coming to the surface that need to be healed and addressed. And so this is a lot of inward reflection and processing of, okay, well, what changes? What do I need to do to myself internally in order to be able to heal some of these wounds? Do I need to look at myself differently? Do I need to accept different, maybe physical things about myself? So this is really giving you this opportunity to heal whatever it is about yourself, your physical body that you don't necessarily like, that you're maybe ashamed of. So that's coming to the surface. And that could also have some sort of impact on your circle of friends as well, because all of this is happening at the same time. And so maybe it's about you accepting pieces of yourself, and that's going to help you maybe be more open, be more available, have more of that personal interaction with your friends. And then on the 5th, we'll have Venus entering Aries. And so that's going to happen exactly at midnight Eastern time. So adjust for your time zone here. And so Mercury will be retrograde when this happens. In the sign of Aries, Chiron's there, the Sun, Venus, and the North Node. And so when Venus enters Aries, so Venus is all about what you value, its relationships, its harmony, its balance. It is the ruler of both Libra and Taurus. And so there is a lot of, again, what you value and just that kind of how does it relate to relationships. And so when Venus enters Aries, it's going to be conjunct Neptune and Pisces. So for you, Venus is going to impact your first house. So what is it about you? What is it about you that you like, that you value, that you want in your life? And then with Neptune and Pisces, Pisces is in your 12th house. So now we're talking about your physical body, and now we've got your internal processing. And so your Neptune in Pisces, this has a lot to do with the changes or maybe the goals that you've set for yourself, the dreams that you have for yourself as they relate to aligning your inward and your outward appearance. And so inward could be like conversations you have with yourself, the way that you see things, because we all see things through a lens. I mean, that's just who we are. And so there's something about the way that you process things subconsciously that now you are given an opportunity to align that with your physical body. We'll also have Venus sextile Pluto. So what this is doing is it's also, again, providing you more opportunity to maybe make some changes within your circle of friends as they relate to who you are. And again, with now you've got that internal processing. So it's kind of going back to that whole, are there things about yourself that you maybe need to accept? I'm getting weight gain. So like if you were putting on weight and you maybe struggled with this for a very long time and you always beat yourself up about it and you always viewed yourself through this negative lens because this is not something that you wanted for yourself. And now maybe you're getting to a point where you understand, well, it's not my choice. Maybe it is your choice. Maybe it's not your choice. Maybe it's a medical condition that you have and that you've done everything that you can possibly do. And so this is just something that you need to learn to accept about yourself. It doesn't diminish who you are as a person. It's just how you see yourself. And so all of that, all of these changes to you are going to have an impact with the people around you because you are going to be different. Then we have the solar eclipse. So that is going to happen on the 8th. So this is a really interesting thing. So there is, the eclipse is going to happen at 2:17 p.m. Eastern time, but the new moon is going to be exact at 4 minutes later at 2:21 p.m. Eastern time. And so this is, I mean, this is all about you. Not to make it about you, but it's kind of about you. And so this is a lot of Aries energy. So we'll have the sun, the moon, obviously. Mercury is retrograde in your sign. We have Chiron, Venus, and then because this is the eclipse, this is the North Node. And so there is a lot happening here. And so just to kind of take a step back, we're in Aries, Libra eclipse season. North Node in Aries, this is what you're trying to do right now. South Node is what you feel comfortable doing. So from a Libra standpoint, there's things that they're going to come up and they're going to be addressed separately. But North Node in Aries, what is being highlighted here is the actions that you need to take for you specifically around yourself, because this is impacting your first house of self. And so right away, at the time that this all takes place, because it's only a 4-minute difference between the two, we'll have the sun, the moon, and Chiron all at 19 degrees. What this means normally, so if we normally just have the sun and the moon, so the sun and the moon, this would be highlighting your emotions, bringing something about yourself to the forefront, highlighting maybe, I was going to say something you need to do or something you need to heal, but Chiron, I mean, it's really going to highlight something here that you need to heal about yourself. And again, this is all impacting your first house. So this could be your physical body. This could be the way that you see your physical body. Or maybe this is giving you an opportunity to do something connected to your physical body and kind of take that approach. This is really, I mean, this is not an insignificant energy. This is a pretty significant energy. They're all at the same degree point, which means that they're all on top of each other in the sky. That means this energy is really blended together. At the same time that this happens, the moon is also going to be conjunct Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde in your sign. And so now we've got a lot of, okay, wounds are coming to the surface. You're also going to be internally, because Mercury's retrograde, it's all going to be internal. You're going to be processing things about yourself. What about your physical body? Maybe what wounds are coming to the surface that need to be healed, again, as they relate to your physical body, as they relate to your perception of your physical body. Then we'll also have Mercury, still retrograde, obviously, square Pluto in Aquarius. And so again, Pluto in Aquarius is impacting your house of friends. And so again, all of these things that are coming to the surface about you and your physical body, the way you see yourself, maybe old wounds coming to the surface. And maybe it's not even something you're telling yourself. Maybe you're hearing somebody's voice from childhood in your head, putting these negative thoughts in your head. And so these are things that are coming to the surface now. And as you start to really understand what's happening, understand what changes need to happen, as you heal, that is going to change the friend dynamic that you have. It just is, because you're changing your own dynamic. And so your interactions with other people are definitely going to be impacted. Square, so this does indicate some maybe obstacles and challenges. It may just feel foreign to your friends. That could be the obstacle or challenge. This doesn't feel like it's going to be one of those big blowout things, but it does feel a lot more like they're going to notice the changes that are happening to you, and they're going to maybe say something to you about it. You may feel uncomfortable talking about it, but it is who you are, and it is what is happening to you, and it is you kind of doing some positive for yourself. So don't let that hold you back. Then we'll have the sun enter Taurus. So that's going to happen on the 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And so when this happens, we'll have the sun, Jupiter, and Uranus all in the sign of Taurus. And the sun will actually be conjunct Chiron in Aries. So the sun in Taurus. Taurus, again, is what we value. Venus is the ruler here. And so it is about what you value. It is about, for you specifically, it's going to be your second house of personal finances. It could be things like artwork that you own in your home. This would be something that's impacted here. Chiron in Aries, again, is bringing up wounds related to yourself. And so there's a connection here. There's something being highlighted about what you value and how does that relate to who you are as a person? How does that relate to your physical appearance? How does maybe money help you or hurt you? Is there some sort of like a retail therapy when you're down about your body or you're down about something else, you tend to spend more money? Or is it something where, like my weight gain scenario, where you constantly have to go out and buy more clothes because you just don't like the way that the other ones fit because now you've gained weight? And things like that are going to be coming to the surface here. And again, because this is Chiron, this is going to be some sort of old wound here. And so with the sun in Taurus, it is about what you value, but it's an earth energy. So it's trying to ground you back into reality and say, like, all those wounds, they're wounds. They're not how other people see you. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so we'll also have the sun in Taurus square Pluto in Aquarius. Again, so now we're talking about your group of friends and we're talking about your personal finances here. And so as you're making these changes to yourself, there is going to be some opportunity here, and it's really some sort of obstacle or challenge as it relates to your personal finances and your friends. Is there, I'm just trying to think through, like maybe the way, maybe it's going out to eat. Maybe we're just going to stick with my weight gain hypothetical here, where maybe you don't want to go out to eat all the time because you are trying to do something about your weight and maybe trying to control it from that perspective. Or maybe you're adjusting just in general the money that you spend. Maybe you don't want to go on these lavish vacations, and that's going to prevent or create some sort of challenge with your friends because they're used to seeing you in a certain way. They're not ready for the change that you have coming. We'll also have Jupiter conjunct Uranus and Taurus, and so that's going to happen on the 20th at 10:27 p.m. Eastern time, so at night. And here, this is a really interesting one because it's not about any kind of planets moving into signs or anything like that, but Jupiter is all about expansion. Uranus is all about sudden change, and it's change that's necessary in order for you to grow, and that's exactly what this is. So this is change necessary for your growth in the sign of Taurus. So this is something that is meant to be very grounded, could impact you here for you specifically. So this is going to have an impact on your second house of finances. And so it looks like all of these changes that you're making to yourself and the way that you see your finances and your relationship to finances and your physical body and just all of these different things. Now there seems to be some more changes that are happening as they relate to your finances. There's probably something here that you didn't even realize was holding you back. It was preventing you from having the financial security that you wanted or that growth that you were looking for in your finances. Then we'll have the full moon in Scorpio. So that's going to happen on the 23rd at 7:49 p.m. Eastern time. And so when this happens, we have the sun and the moon. They're at opposition. So they're at opposite points in the chart. And so moon in Scorpio, sun in Taurus. Moon in Scorpio, I mean, this is heavy. So the moon is all about your emotions. Scorpio is death and rebirth. This could be intimacy issues. This could be really highlighting something here. You're making a lot of changes to yourself. Is there something about your emotional well-being that is changing, or maybe the way that you see yourself in relationships? Or is there some sort of transformation that is occurring here that might be at odds, in opposition, with how you express yourself, because that sun in Taurus is all about that grounded expression with the things that you value. It is how you express yourself. And so it feels a lot like your emotions and how you're expressing yourself are not in alignment right now. They're at odds with each other. And so for you, where this impacts you the most is the second house and the eighth house. So Taurus, sitting in your house of personal finances, what you value. Eighth house is also connected to finances, but now it's the money that you get from other people. So it could be your job, it could be debt, it could be like a mortgage or something along those lines. And so what you're looking at is, I want, hypothetical, house. You want to buy a house, but for some reason you keep spending money, and so it's not allowing you, or you're not allowing yourself to really save to be able to buy that house. And so that would be something that's at odds with each other. And so that's something that's being highlighted here. There's something emotional, like emotional with maybe owning your own property. Maybe it scares you. Maybe that's one of the wounds that's coming to the surface. Maybe you're afraid to stand on your own 2 feet. Or maybe now you see that there is an opportunity here for you to have the house that you want. You just have to make changes here in your personal finances. We'll also have the moon square Pluto. So Pluto's in Aquarius, the moon is in Scorpio. And so again, moon in Scorpio, so this is emotional changes that are taking place for you as they relate to that eighth house energy. And then we've got Pluto in Aquarius. And so Pluto in Aquarius, this is a really, again, with your friends and everything else, all of these changes that you're making, especially when they come to your finances, if you're used to going out with your friends all the time and now you're scaling back because you're trying to save for that house, or you're making these personal changes to yourself, you see yourself differently, and now it's impacting other areas. This square does indicate that there will be some obstacles and challenges, but again, it feels a lot more like people are just going to be surprised by the actions that you're taking. And they're not bad actions, they're not negative actions in any way, but it is about, okay, well, what is it that you're doing? Why are you changing? What are you changing? You're healing. This is how it's supposed to be. And so this is all about your financial security. So this full moon in Scorpio is really highlighting your finances here. Then we have Mercury stationing direct on the 25th. And so we'll finally be out of the real solid, that retrograde internal inspection of our own emotions and everything else. We will have the shadow until May 13th, so that's unavoidable. But we'll have Venus, Chiron, and Mercury are still going to be in the sign of Aries. And so Mercury is going to be conjunct Venus. So now we're talking about communication, but now we're talking about outward communication as it relates to Venus, what you value, what you want. Again, this is all impacting your first house of self. And so this is about your physical body. This would be okay, I've learned a lot about myself throughout the month of April. I'm starting to make some internal changes to myself, the way that I see myself. And now what you're doing is you're really speaking it. You're able to communicate exactly what's been happening to you, whereas maybe prior to this, you weren't ready to do that. And now this is saying that you're ready to start talking about all of these changes that you're making to yourself, all of these wounds that you're probably healing from. Then we'll have Venus enter Taurus. So that's going to happen on the 29th, and that's going to happen at 7:32 in the morning Eastern time. And so when it happens, we'll have Venus, Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter all in Taurus, with Venus actually being the ruler of Taurus. So that's positive there. And so Venus will be conjunct the Sun in Taurus. This is a lot of really positive energy because this is really highlighting what you value, what you want. Again, your personal finances are coming into play. And so this is really shining a light on your personal finances. What is it that you want to do? Setting financial goals is highlighted here. So really think about what it is that you want and then expressing that, really being open about the goals that you've set for yourself. Maybe in prior conversations, saying to your friends, I'm trying to save to buy a house. I can't go out all the time, or I can't go on all these lavish vacations, or I can't do whatever it is that you're trying to do because you've got goals that you're trying to achieve. Or maybe it's not even buying a house, maybe it's paying down debt. That could be one too. And so Venus is also going to be conjunct Chiron. Chiron is sitting in Aries. And again, so this is that connection between your personal finances and the wounds that have been coming to the surface with your physical body. So this is all tying together throughout the month of April. Your wounds are coming here to be healed. They do have an impact on your finances and the goals that you've set for yourself. These wounds have actually been holding you back from having the financial security that you're looking for. And so it's really positive that they are coming to the surface. So just kind of keep that in mind. And the last aspect here is that Venus and Sun in Taurus are going to be square Pluto and Aquarius. And again, this is really about your friends not recognizing the changes that are happening within you. Why are these changes happening within you? What's happening here? Just what's happening here. And so Mercury's already going to be direct. So now you're going to feel like you can express this more openly. And then on the last day of the month, on the 30th at 11:33 in the morning Eastern time, Mars enters Aries. And so we'll have Chiron, Mercury, and Mars all in the sign of Aries. Mars is the ruler of your sign. And so just like we had Venus in Taurus, we'll have Mars in Aries. And so Mars will be conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Mars in Aries, it's just more of your energy. And so this is about taking action, really being bold, stepping out. Not being afraid to cut something loose if it just doesn't work for you anymore. But with it being conjunct in Pisces, what you're really focused on here are your goals, are your dreams. And so for you, this is that internal 12th house Pisces energy and that external first house Aries energy. So this is about coming to some sort of alignment with all the work that you've done on yourself throughout the entire month. How is this playing out? What kind of actions do you need to continue making to yourself, physical body, in order to align your physical body with the goals and the dreams that you have for yourself, the way that you want to see yourself, the way that you talk to yourself subconsciously? All of that is being highlighted here. It's being highlighted again with Mars sextile the moon. So this is really giving you an opportunity to talk to your friends because this moon is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. And so now we're talking about the changes that you're making to yourself physically. This is an easier one. This is not a challenging position with your friends. This is really giving you an opportunity to talk about the changes that you're making, really have that emotional conversation, explain to them what is happening here. It will also be sextile Pluto and Aquarius. So again, your friends just aren't going to really fully understand these changes that are occurring within you until you explain them. We'll also have Mars sextile Jupiter in Taurus. And so again, we've got your first house of self and we've got your second house of finances. And so the sextile does create an opportunity for you to really align all the changes that you're making to yourself and your personal finances. And so this is really just kind of giving you this, and it's an opportunity. This is something that is not going to just automatically happen. This is something that you're going to have to take some sort of step to do. So if you want to save money, you want to create that financial security, it is important that you take the steps to whatever it is related to you, saving more money, spending less money on clothes, spending less money going out all the time or going on vacation all the time, whatever it is, so that you can have that financial stability that you're looking for. So Aries, this is the reading for the month of April. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.